Aiden Hale, that's the name of the Nashville shooter. This video is about to be very uncomfortable for a lot of us. It's very uncomfortable for me to talk about, but we need to talk about it. Aiden did a very horrendous thing. Period, point blank. We need pew-pew reform in our country. But the way that the media and the police are misgendering and dead naming Aiden is quite concerning. It's also concerning that I had to go to the Telegraph from UK to actually get Aiden's chosen name.
She just killed 9 years old, and all you care about is how people are perceived that might have identified with that same ideology. No. So I'm not going to give you the special privilege. I'm going to advocate for everybody should be able to be called out with the same horrible language so we can find some equality. That's the only way this is going to be solved, because the more you defend this, the more horrible it will get. Because this happened.
Every death is a tragedy, y'all. It's 7 lives.
7 lives. 3 9-year-olds, 3 adults, and then the trans community is like, no, 7 lives died because the shooter that did that horrible thing is also a victim. Do you know how offensive that is to the parents?
Well, what's interesting, if you've noticed, they are misgendering and dead naming the murderer.
Who cares?
Right? They are referring to the murderer by their given name, not their chosen name.
Right.
And by their referring to her as a woman, as opposed to what her identity apparently was a man.
Who cares?
Which is not the way the media usually does these things. They're usually very particular about the subjective sense of gender identity in respecting that. If someone says they're a man, then they're a man.
Empathy is something that goes back and forth. And even if I don't get the empathy, I try to be in the middle ground. But to a shooter, it's hard. Because I can't keep sowing empathy because I'm going to get that back when I'm not even generous with my empathy because I'm doing it because I feel forced. Because we just live in 2 different worlds. But there's a moral middle ground that luckily always lands on your side. We just play along. And then for some odd reason, the same person did never understand the empathy when shooting like a crazy person, and I have to still stay that empathetic. There comes a point that I'm like, I'm not here that I want to misgender you, call you by that name, but in the end, I do want to send a message that if you don't really care about me, why do I need to care about you? I don't want to speak bad about the dead, but if you force me to speak in a way that I didn't agree with you, I would not be surprised that certain people on your side is going to be like, I don't care anymore either, because that's not equal. That's not equality. That's not inclusive of both of our feelings.
In this case, they're not doing that.
Hang on, you know what? This person murdered 6 people. I don't really care who you say you are. You murdered 6 people, and 3 of them were children. You don't get a say. Well, she's dead now, so,
Yeah.
you know, but you don't get a say in telling us who you are and what you're about. You killed 6 people.
Okay, but
That's what
let's
really
take her
matters.
out of this and just
All right, so here's what I'm saying.
talk about the issue without the
So
murder.
the issue then, well, no, because you brought it out, so you know we
Okay.
can talk about it. So now we're on to something else. But here's the thing. I'm a parent. I'm a parent all day. I get to decide what happens in my child's life. Not you, not the government, not anybody.
Remember, this girl supposedly went to the school to shoot the school because a specific bill was passed that kids were not allowed to transition until they're 18. Because they believe between 12 to 18, if they don't get it, they snippity-snip themselves. I'm like, okay, so the bill gets removed, you think Christian is at fault, and you go to the school. What do you want us to think?
I don't co-parent. I had this child. I'm responsible for this child.
Yeah.
Anything happens to little Johnny, you're calling me.
Yeah.
Right? As you should. Right. So what I'm saying, hang on.
That's a good point. If something bad happened to my kid, they don't call the school. They call the parent.
So what I'm saying now is, if I don't want my child giving lap dances at school by a drag queen, I don't want it done.
Right.
That's happening.
But do you think the state should have the right? Do you think the state should have the right to
I'm
interfere?
talking about as a
Hell no.
parent.
Well,
I am a parent.
I mean,
Forget the state. I'm a parent.
lap dances.
This is my child.
I'm not
I will make a decision
I'm
about
not
what
sh-
happens with my child.
I'm not sure lap dances.
It's happening. Don't you see it?
No, there's drag queen story hour. There are definitely drag queens reading to children.
No,
There are drag
it's
queens
happening.
that are doing pole dances. There are drag queens that are
In school?
Yes?
What?
Bill, you gotta read more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
These articles are happening, but many people don't want to read it because the algorithm. And there you have it. Drag queen performs a lap dance on student and guy rates in front of cheering children at Pride event for high schoolers in North Carolina. This is happening at school. Look at that. Flakang, in your face. Look at that. And she looks at them. Where's the video? Where's the video? Well, I don't want a child to restrict the video anyway, but you get my point. But the point is, if this is happening to your kid in front of kids and everybody is cheering, if you tell me it will not affect my kid, they might not do something that they never expected, you must be bugging. Amen. Stop doing that. Especially people that don't have kids or people that don't want to be able to create kids. I don't want to know your opinion. Who are you to decide how I need to feel about my kid? Because you're traumatized, maybe you cannot do a specific thing, and you want to invest in another kid to feel bad. At least I did something good because I will never make a baby anyway. Let me join an organization and say if I'm helping the LGBTQ so I can feel like a parent because I have a purpose and a community. It feels very disingenuous. Because you would never care if I did something aggressive to my wife about me. You won't be calling me, oh, Meat was just a nice black man. He had one eye open. No, you're gonna be gangster about the whole thing. He was a bastard, an evil person, a misogynist, bada beam, bada boom. Because I will use my reality to justify what I see. Not to hurt your feeling, but I'm not going to be extra nice so you are comfortable. At least they obeyed us. Ha, 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 ha. Even if the person did a horrible thing, because they are responsible for the impressionable people that might use that foul language. Maybe you are responsible too about the foul people you have been creating in this whole society that you never call out because you cannot even call out your own people because you're afraid they might snippity snip themselves. But stop coping by expecting other people to be nice to the monster that you have created sometimes.